I really need an intro. But tonight we are talking about succeeding with only using free services and apps as a writer. And I don't, I can't really say for sure because, like, I didn't spend a single dime writing a freelancer's tale, and I've only made like 21 sales in the past. Well, since I published it November something. It was like the day before Thanksgiving. But I didn't, and I even tried doing ads at the moment. And the new ads have actually been shown like 5 times more than the last ones. And the ads aren't even done yet. Still no clicks. So I can't really say if it's a success. Mostly because, like I said in the video today, that a freelancer's tale is an extremely niche centric topic or niche centric book. Unless you know who I am or give a rat's ass about how I became a freelance writer and succeeded from content mills to where I am today, you don't really care. You're not going to buy the book. So I'm going to do this whole process again with Kingmaker when I read it. I'm going to do the whole thing for free, and this time definitely put more money into the marketing aspect because it is a fantasy gothic horror novel, which has a much wider audience than anything I could probably come up with. So, with that being said, there are a lot of free tools that are out there that'll help you publish your book, but sometimes it might be worth investing a bit of money into them, and well, into the more expensive stuff. Okay, so let's start with writing apps. With writing apps, you have things like for free, you have LibreOffice, OpenOffice, WordPad on Windows. I think Mac has a writing app as well. Now you can use something like Word, Microsoft Word, but I wouldn't buy into the Microsoft Office suite just to get Word so I can write a book because any word processor out there will do the same thing. Technically, you could use WordPress if you wanted to, as long as you're using a word processor. And well, I've shown how I've been able to use WordPress to write articles for clients on Textbroker using the classic editor, especially since I can load it up with all kinds of cool tools. But as for writing the book, I used LibreOffice. That's only because I've had LibreOffice for a decade, a very, very long time. But I didn't have to spend any money for it. So writing apps is pretty a no-brainer, pretty much a no-brainer. There are some functions in stuff that are like Microsoft Word, but just to write a novel, I don't really see Microsoft Word as being labeled as one of the best writing apps out there for people who are writing a novel, even though half the blogs I come across looking for blogging tools says that it is. It's not. It's a word processor. I mean, we're looking for something that's specifically for books. But, it is what it is. Not a fan, but, anyway, for free, writing apps, a whole bunch of them out there. Now here, the fun part, though, is editing. So, a writer should never, ever edit his or her own book. There's a reason. Mostly because of how our brains work. When you write any kind of piece of content, your brain's already processing that how you wrote it is correct. So when you go over and try to proofread your own work, you're not going to catch every single error. There's stuff that I'll go back and look at on my blog from like 6 months ago and think to myself, well, how the hell did that slip past? It happens. Your brain already processes it as being correct. Now, without the free parts of doing it though is trying to do it yourself. It's best to get a friend or use a free version of something like Grammarly. I use the shit out of Grammarly. It helped me find a bunch of small mistakes that I glossed over. It happens. Another good way to edit your own work if you don't have the cash is to read it out loud like you're doing an audiobook. Now, I do the audiobook of Despair on Creative Sanctuary's YouTube channel, and so when I read aloud, the brain has to process whatever you're reading so that you can speak it. And so there's a different process that goes through it. And so when you're reading it out loud, like you're reading an audiobook, you'll pick up all kinds of grammatical issues. And there's times where I will proofread it, Sam will proofread it, Grammarly will go through it, but then when I sit there and I start reading the book to record, I will catch a ton of different things that nobody else did. So reading out loud is definitely a bonus. Probably take you a little bit long if you're doing a 90,000 word horror novel, but it's worth its shot if you're trying to edit for free. Because there's editors out there who will charge $4,000 to edit your book. Just editing. That's not including all the other junk that goes with it. And it's crazy, but I don't have $4,000, and so I'm gonna do with what I got. And right now it's mostly just me, Sam, Grammarly, and I think with Kingmaker I'm gonna get some beta readers to help me out, mostly to see check for continuity errors, because the way I'm writing the book is that I don't want it to be confusing, so I need two people, or I need somebody to read it through and make sure that I'm not confusing the shit out of people. That's the biggest thing for me. But anyway, editing, out of everything that you could possibly spend money on, editing is probably the number one thing that you might want to consider. But if you're doing it for free, there's all kinds of ways to get around it. Creating the cover. Here's another one. There is a website out there that I have bookmarked that I'm going to be doing a review about soon, where you can buy ebook covers from graphic designers. It's kind of like a content mill for graphic design, for ebooks. And you just go in and you pick which cover you want and buy it, and they're all unique. So you don't have to worry about using the same color, the same cover as somebody else. And they can range in price from $19 all the way up to $859 was the highest one I saw. And some of those, when you get past the $40 mark, some of them are really nice. They put a lot of effort into it. So I'm looking forward to doing the review on them. And I'm half tempted to take a random book cover and write a book based on what the author drew, or what the designer created, just out of fun. I might do that after I get done with Kingmaker and 7. So I don't know. But anyway, with creating the cover, I did it for free using Canva, and all I did was take a picture of myself standing above Lookout Mountain here in Colorado, and I think the cover came out nice. It's me, but for something more creative, Canva is a great resource for designing all kinds of ebook covers. Problem is that you're more than likely going to use the same image that somebody else did. And so that's one thing I don't like about stock image sites, is because everybody has, well, not everybody, but on the free version, everybody has access to those same images. And the more unique your book, the better. It's the same with blogs, same with YouTube channels, your thumbnails. The more unique your graphics, the more interesting you will be to your audience. And so that's the only downside I see to using Canva. I didn't have to worry about that because I did use a unique picture that I took, that we took ourselves. Sam took it while I was standing on the mountainside. So, but Canva is great, but sometimes they don't have what you want for free. There might be some images that you just can't find, and then you can go through Pexels or Pixabay or Unsplash. There's a lot of royalty-free image sites that you can use with Canva. The problem is, like I said before, you're using the same images somebody else is probably using. So you want to be able to differentiate yourself from everybody else. That's a big thing. But there are cheap and affordable ways to get covers for your book. Like I said, that one website that I came across, that Nat turned me on to, it has a lot of really nice ones, and I'm going to try to get a $40 book cover. Then we'll do a review video and a blog post, and then I'll write the book. So I got to come up with a good title for whatever image it is, so that when he sends it to me, I'm ready to go. So, yeah, creating covers, pretty easy to do for free. Especially if you have like Photoshop or Illustrator. If you're graphically inclined. If not, you can find somebody in your family who can do it, maybe for free. I probably doubt it. Not in today's world. Everybody needs something. But yeah, there's all kinds of ways to get around a $800 cover image. So just got to be a little creative. Next up would be book formatting tools, especially if you're publishing on something like Amazon or Barnes & Noble, because you need it'll help you format how your chapters look, how your pages look, the spacing in between the sentences, the font sizes. I mean, it controls a lot of aspects, and so you want to spruce up your book as best as you can, with the formatting tool. Now with Kindle Create, it did a fairly okay job, even though Kindle Create is buggy as shit, but it still worked. I got what I wanted out of it. I was able to print my book. The printed copies look amazing. But Kindle Create only works for Amazon. You can't use it for Barnes & Noble or for your own website. So there's quite a few free book formatting tools that are out there, which I plan on reviewing a bunch here in the very near future. But I don't know how well they work. Now, the only one that's out there that I'm really hopeful about is Atticus, and that's $150 software. Cool thing is you only have to pay it once. It's not a subscription fee. So I'm going to see if there's anything I can find that's free that I can use for A Freelancer's Tale and for Kingmaker that's coming out May 1st. And so I got to get my ass in gear because I don't have much time left. But they're out there. You just got to find a good one. And it also depends on how you want to format it to. Do you want to format it in PDF, EPUB, Mobi? Those are the three most common. So I'm looking for, I'm going to look for EPUB, possibly PDF, because I want to see what it looks like in print and in ebook format. It's one thing I was kind of disappointed about Kindle Create, because it'll show kind of what it's supposed to look like on a mobile device, but it doesn't show anything about what a printed copy would look like. And so, at least until you submit it and go through the entire process, and then you review it, and then I've had to re-upload a Freelancer's Tale 3 times because I had to fix some of the different fonts and chapters that weren't ranging right in the software. So, gotta be careful with formatting tools. There's some good ones out there. We just have to find what we're looking for. So let's go to the chat real quick. Ron Kincaid says, what is the name of that website? Give me a second. I believe I bookmarked it. It is not in there. The book cover designer, or I think that is. Let's see. Okay, thebookcoverdesigner.com. I will put the link in chat. But there's a lot of really cool ones. Oh, that one's on discount. There's a lot of really cool designs out there. It's full of, last time I looked, there was like 20,000 images. I don't know. Let's check real fast. 18,573 unique designs available. And it's broken down in genres, featured designers. You can look at specific people. And there's some designers out there that are just amazing. Of course, some of the really nicer ones are more than $100. So here is the bookcoverdesigner.com. And that's when I'm going to be buying. I'm going to buy an image off of, see how well it works, then write a book about whatever I get. I think it'd be fun. In fact, I might make that part of my 60-day book in 60 days challenge. I don't know. We'll see. Dr. Diana Brain says, wow, I didn't realize that creating a book, including editing, book cover, etc., was so expensive. that is disheartening. It can be. It also depends on the type of editor you come across. So there's some editing companies that have proofreaders, editors. There's like 4 different types of editing that they charge you for. So there was one that I totaled up as more than $8,000. Like the fuck that? I'm not going to pay you more than what it would cost me to buy a car. So no. Um, but like I said, you can do stuff for free. There are some things that you might want to consider. But if you don't have the money and you want to publish your book and get your story out there, there's all kinds of ways that you can go about making a fairly nice, readable book. Like I said, when I read it out loud, as if it were an audiobook, like I do Despair, um, I come across all kinds of things, and not just spelling or grammatic errors either. There's times where I'll be reading the story and I'll come across something that doesn't make continuity. It's a continuity issue. There's something wrong with the story that I have to fix real quick before I keep recording. So, reading out loud, benefit. Whereas Matt, no idea. Anyway, so there's the book formatting tools. And then lastly, and probably the thing you'll spend the most money on, aside from editing, is marketing. Yay. Now, I'm lucky. I haven't sold a single book, so I haven't had to worry about paying a damn thing for marketing. The way Amazon works, it's cost per click. So I put in my bid. If someone clicks on the ad to view the page, then it charges me 50 cents or whatever it is it's set to. But when nobody clicks your ad, you're not charged. So my ad has been shown almost 3,000 times. Not a single person has clicked it. That's not a very good ratio. But like I said before, A Freelancer's Tale is a very niche book. It's one of those where it probably won't have any sales until after I publish maybe about 3 or 4 more books. And once people start knowing who I am, they'll probably go back and look because it's not a biography. But for now, the book's main purpose was to help me learn how to do the self-publishing process, everything from writing to selling. And in that regard, it is succeeded. I've learned a lot. So Kingmaker is going to be different though, because it does have a much wider audience. And so I do plan on spending quite a bit marketing Kingmaker. Yeah, it's going to cost me a pretty penny. But it's fantasy gothic horror. It's much bigger than who the hell's Michael Brockbank, you know? It's an autobiography versus a book that you'd see anywhere else. And with Kingmaker, that's the one I want to try to push to get into Barnes & Noble's physical store, but we'll have to see how well it comes out. Still working on it. I'm hoping it's not too confusing, because I would have to rewrite the entire thing if it is, because of the way I wrote it. But it's an adventure. It'll be cool. But yeah. So there are lots of free ways you can get around stuff. Like with another part of marketing is that there's only so much that you can do for free with marketing. Like I have made more sales taking to Facebook and Twitter, announcing I have a book. Like I sold 6 that first day, most of them to my family. So it's like instant sales. I got it. I think I made a couple of sales since I've added it to WriterSanctuary and michaelbrockbank.com. I haven't really mentioned it often in Twitter, which I kind of suck at social media, but I'm going to try to get on the ball with that and try to advertise a little bit more. But I'm not really seeing a lot of action for that one book. Kingmaker, definitely, but Freelancer's Tale, probably not. It's more of a niche thing. So, but there's only so much you can do with free, and then you gotta start thinking about ads, Amazon ads, Facebook ads. I'm half tempted to try Google ads, but you know, I don't know how well that'll come across simply because of the nature of my book. Like I said, with Kingmaker, it's going to be a completely different story. So this summer I'm going to have a ton of marketing articles and videos surrounding what I've done with Kingmaker, and so that's gonna be fun. But yeah, so there we go. Can you succeed with only using free services? To an extent, you can, but it's going to take an awful lot more work. Like, I'm basing most of this off of my experiences with the blogs and YouTube channel. I haven't really spent all that much. I bought the new camera for YouTube. I've got the web hosting. I do pay for a few premium services for like Yoast, SEO, and advanced ads, and a few other things that I want to buy this year. But the I see, it is possible to go straight free and still be successful, but the premium services just make it so much easier. It cuts out a lot of time that you wind up spending trying to do something. Same with writing a book. The formatting tools, if you get something like Atticus that's all polished, spick and span, ready to go, then yeah, that's what you want. But for free, I haven't tried one yet, but some of the ones I have seen don't have nearly the flexibility of a paid service. So, as the adage goes, you get what you pay for. So if you just try and do nothing but free, it takes a bit more work, but it is possible. So, there we go.